What's up, champ? Hope you're having a great day. Another day, another TRUEversation. It's been a minute. A new setup. I'm gonna try this out. Really focusing on putting up more YouTube content here. So you know what to do. Please support the channel, like, subscribe. And when I'm putting up these TRUEversations, I want them to serve as almost like a memoir of what I'm going through myself, and I would love to hear your opinions. So any feedback that you can give me, shoot them in the comments. If the sound is too low, if the background is annoying you, if whatever. If you love what we're doing also. We like criticism and positive feedback, whatever. Today I want to start today's TRUEversation with a quote that I think is something really, a really profound quote, very simple but profound at the same time, and it is the following. It's, you're not tired because you're doing too much. You're doing because you're... I'm gonna give this a shot one more time. The quote goes as follows. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You are tired because you're doing too little of the things that lights your fire. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You are tired because you're doing too little of the things that lights your fire. And I think that's such a valid point. If you think about it, and I can just, if I go back in my life, I can time and time again see how that quote is accurate. Whether that is when I used to work at McDonald's, that 2 hours, going in and doing a 2-hour shift felt like an eternity, versus podcasting, creating, public speaking, dancing, doing anything, essentially anything that is creative. I can do that for hours. I can do that to the extent of that I forget to eat. Like eating becomes something I have to do. I have to put an alarm on my watch. If I'm doing something, if I'm creating a big project, for example, like when I was doing my TEDx talk, I had to put alarms on my watch to remember to eat, because I think it's so fun just creating. Versus if I'm doing taxes, doing 15 minutes of taxes is again, it feels like an eternity. So I'll do everything in my power to procrastinate it. Every little reason for not doing it. No, but I need to do this. No, but I need to do this creative thing. No, but I need to do this creative thing. Which just highlights, if you're building a company or if you're starting off as a young entrepreneur, you need a team of people. You need people that are great at what you're worse at. And I'm not a tax type of guy. I'm not a super admin type of guy. I'm the creative part for the moment. Like that's what I'm naturally good at. So I should build on top of that strength instead of focusing and becoming great at something I'm not, right? And so how do you find out, right? Like that purpose. How do you find out what lights your fire? Because that's essentially a purpose, right? What is that? How do you find that? How do you find out what lights your fire? How do you find out your end vision? How do you find out what is your purpose, or making you feel purposeful? Because I think it's a difference between finding purpose and finding your purpose. I think that's a difference, right? Finding purpose is that even when I used to work at McDonald's, I could still find purpose within that season of my life. I am here, it sucks, but it serves as a stepping stone for me to get to another level. Versus my purpose is to, whatever the case may be, it's something deeper, right? Like for me, perhaps it could be something along the lines of, my purpose is to inspire the people under me and above me in my family to show that it's possible. And then when I mean family, I mean people that follow me, you guys. I hope that I can show you guys that whatever you want to put your mind into, you can accomplish that. I hope that I can be able to show my parents, to be able to show my siblings, my younger cousins, that whatever they put their mind into, no matter where they are still able to elevate. They're still able to reach another level, another ceiling, another plateau. There's always a next, right? So that is my purpose, versus the purpose of this specific podcast is to make you guys ponder upon the same quote that I just shared with you. And I thought about this today. Today was one of those days when I'm really spending a lot of time in my mind. Even if I'm doing a lot of stuff, I'm really good, and I pride myself in taking time alone to think. Even if I'm not isolating myself from the world, I can be in a group of people, but I'm spending a lot of time up here. And today was one of those days that we work a lot, obviously. We work so much that we have started incorporating 20-hour fasts. So we don't eat anything during the entire day until 6, 7 o'clock at night, because like this we can get more work done. Not advice. Not advice. It's good to some extent, but not advice if you don't are already good at fasting and understanding what that's all about. Anyway, I dissected. Dissected? Dissected, is that how I say it? Dissected? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I sidelined. But today we worked, and on Tuesdays we take time to go, we do something. We have a 2-hour lunch break on Tuesdays. Just because we're doing these long ass days, we decided Tuesdays today we take a longer break, because then we can go back and feel refreshed, right? So today we went to a beach on the other side of the island called Salamanca. Beautiful beach. They have a little creperie there, so you can go and have like a Cape Verdean crepe and take a swim. Incredible. But when I was there at this beach club, eating my crepe, enjoying myself, I saw a man. So if you imagine that here is a fence, this is inside of the creperie, and then on the outside here, it's obviously beach, and then over here it's sand. And the man was working that inside of this little fence, he was working, taking sand to the outside place of the beach, and then he poured it on the beach. And every time he came with a cartwheel, right? Like a cartwheel or whatever. He filled the cart full of sand. Wheelbarrow? Wheelbarrow? He took a wheelbarrow and he filled that wheelbarrow up with sand. He took it towards outside of the fence. He poured it on the beach, and then he went back. Then he poured more sand from inside of the fence. He took it outside of the fence, and then he poured the sand on the sand, right? Now there is piles, it's gonna make sense to you guys. Now there is piles of sand on the beach, laying very asymmetric, right? Like tuk, 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 tuk. So he did that for a couple of hours, probably longer, because there were already piles of sand when I came there. But then after a while, when we were gonna go to the ocean for the second time, because of course we do one swim before the crepe, and we eat the crepe, have a good coffee, and then we take another swim right before we get back to the office. Right when I'm going down for my second swim, I'm seeing this guy. Now he's outside of the fence. Remember those symmetrical bags or piles of sand that was on the sand? Now he's flattening those out. and I'm telling you to David, I'm like, I think purpose is created. And I think you have to create your own purpose. I don't think that's something you stumble upon. And a lot of times you will find things that is very strange for some, but it makes sense for you in that moment. And I think that was one of those things. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, why are you doing that? Just why would you waste your time essentially from my ignorant mind and eye watching this, or the lens I'm currently watching you from? Like, what are you actually doing? Why are you smoothing out the sand? Why don't you let just nature do that? It's just gonna take a week or two, and then nature has just done that by itself, right? But then there is purpose, and you find purpose in the details of doing your job good. You find purpose in the details of doing your job good. And I truly believe that. So for the longest time, I've been talking about doing podcasts, but it's not until I commit to it with details and I say, okay, but I'm going to put out at least one podcast every week. And I want them to be good. I want the sound to be good. I want the light to be good. And then every day we can make incremental progress, right? And then probably a year from now, I will look at these podcasts and I'll say like, wow, the quality is so bad. But considering where I was a year ago, these podcasts are amazing. right? So like I've been continuously making progress. And I think that's a key to finding purpose in your day-to-day life and just understanding where are you, what season are you in, right? Because let's say this man with the sand, maybe that's what he do. Maybe this is his full-time gig. Maybe this is quote unquote everything he does. Then why wouldn't he smoothen out the sand? Why wouldn't he? He's doing his job good. He's doing his job way better than I would. I'm trying to find a shortcut. But yeah, just put the sand up here and then fucking put it over there and then sand on sand, who gives a shit? That was my mindset. But he's like, no, you have to first take the sand here, then you put it in symmetrical patterns on the beach, then you smoothen it out. Why? Because you want the beach to be beautiful. Why? Purpose. There is purpose in the details. And I think that's a lesson we all can take with us. Because what is he doing? Purpose is him creating his own light. So he's not constantly tired or constantly feeling overwhelmed by doing something that doesn't have purpose, right? Because again, remember what we're talking about. Remember about today's quote. You're not tired because you're working too much or you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too little things of the things that lights your fire. And when you're doing these things that don't light fire, so let's say you're in a job you don't like. Let's say you are in McDonald's like I was. How can you find purpose, right? Because it's a job that is essentially automated. So there's not a lot of details, right? Like if you're standing in the cashier, I smile to you, I'm friendly towards you as a customer, then everything else I do is automated. Put the order in, reach to my right side to get the burger, reach to my left side to put the drink, reach under to get the dips, put them on the tray. So where is the purpose? Well, the purpose is doing that. You're making that thing as quote unquote fun and you pay attention to the details. And that's how you find your purpose within that specific moment. And then you have your season of life, which is something we spoke about previously, which is essentially a longer period. It's like, where am I? I understand that McDonald's is just a stepping stone for me. This is not my end all be all. I'm just here because I'm going somewhere with it. So for me, when I did that, it was because I knew I was gonna go out and travel. So whatever it takes to get the money, I will get it, right? And I think that's one of those things that we have a bunch of friends that are recently getting kids, right? We reached that age. We reached that age when all of your friends are starting to have kids. And one of the things you see is that a lot of men, I can only speak for, because I'm seeing it from a men's lens, right? A lot of men that get children, they get more productive. They get hyper productive. Why is that? I think it's because they found purpose. I think their purpose now got way stronger. Their purpose now got way stronger than it was previously. Because now they have someone that is 100% dependent on them. But I think you can fabricate that. I truly think you can fabricate that by paying attention to details, having a clear vision of where you're going, and understanding and respecting the seasons of life, or what I like to call it previously, the flow of life. Where are you in this flow of life? Where are you right now? Well, right now I'm personally in a flow, or until I finished my TEDx, until I decided that, hey, I want to do this thing when I'm sharing more of my thoughts online, not only to dancers that want to drop in body fat, but I want to do longer form podcasts, whatever that means. Whether that is more public speaking, which is also something I want to do more, and that's coming. All of this is coming, but I'm aware of where I am. Now I'm in the season of where I'm trying new things. We changed up the studio, we're trying with this mic, we have the podcast mic, we have this chair, we have these lights. What do we like? What do we don't like? What are you telling us? I'm in the trial and error phase, season, flow. So you gotta know where you are. Because when it comes to my company, like the business side of things, it's time to get on the phone and do sales season. That's the season I'm on there. So different things. Versus when it comes to my relationship with my family. Now I'm really in a wow, I just love spending time talking to my family. Because I don't live with them. I live on a different continent even. So I'm on a different... but I still want to develop my relationship with them. How do I do that? Well, I got to call them more often. It's that simple. Got to have questions, got to have topics to talk about. Not just the basics of how are you? No, I got to pay attention. What's happening in their lives? Again, details. I pay attention to the details. And then the phone calls, the random phone calls I'm doing to them, the random phone calls they're doing to me, because they match my energy. If I start to call them more, my siblings, my family start to call me more also. And I pay attention to the details, so the calls become purposeful. It's not just random, hey, how are you? What are you doing? What did you eat today? Ciao. Trying to build here. So pay attention to details. But here is a warning. Because I know a lot of you guys watching love to use the excuse of I'm a perfectionist, so I don't do it. Because the devil also lives in the details. And here's the thing with that. I'm a perfectionist is one of the best excuses that people use in order for them to hide their inability to execute on what needs to be done. I'm a perfectionist is just, I'm a procrastinator hidden in details. So you're over-analyzing details that you know don't matter. So like this, when it's time for you to pull the trigger, you miss. That's the truth for a lot of us. So the devil is in the details as much as progress and purpose are in the details. So you need to pay attention to the details that matters, right? That's the thing. That's the balance. That's the impossible balance that you want to accomplish. How do you do that? It's a very personal journey. However, I hope that me just shedding light on this really highlights the fact of what you need to work on and what you don't need to look at, right? You want to look at the end goal. What are you trying to do here? Like I'm trying to communicate to you guys. Now in November, I keep saying this in almost every episode, but I have a keynote speak, I want to keep saying it because I'm proud of it. So I have a keynote speak coming up in Creole, which is the first time I have a public appearance in Creole, like to that extent, right? I did panel discussions, I did radio interviews, I did TV interviews, but now I have a keynote speak in Creole, only me on stage, 20 minutes. I never done anything like that. So, do I care over the fact that I will probably stumble across some words? I will probably fuck up some grammar along the way. Do I care about that? No, I don't. Why? Because what I care about is the end result, and it's that you understand my message. That's what I care about. Now, will I do everything in my power to make sure that it's as fluent and as smooth as humanly possible? Of course. It doesn't take away the fact that I'm not going to overstress and focus on details that then doesn't matter. Because I'm not fluent in this language. But it's a journey. It's a journey. So, that's my thoughts on, and again, guys, I would love to hear, what do you think about what I said in details? Are you a procrastinator? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Do you agree with the fact that procrastination is just procrastination? No. Do you agree with that perfectionism is just procrastination hidden with a beautiful linen of silk? Or am I full of shit? I would love to hear what you think about this episode. let me know. And remember, as always, stay sharp and get to work. It's TRUEversation.